and welcome to my new cockpit. As you can see, I have a luxury camping chair. It's very comfortable. The weather's great for today, tomorrow perhaps, and then after that it's just going to be rain. But yeah, I've got the deck pretty much sorted, and now I'm a little bit lost on what to do. So my parents are in the UK with my steering system, my boat plans, my welder, and it's still a little bit cold to be using epoxy. It's just not going to cure properly. So I'm waiting till my parents get here and for the weather to warm up a little bit. Then I can sort this steering out, get the epoxy stuff done, and then hopefully meet my goal of leaving the dock in June. There are a lot of little jobs that I can be doing which are crucial to meeting that deadline. They just seem like little tasks, but I'm just gonna have to, over the next week, just pick away at these little tasks. Just gotta stay busy and keep working towards that deadline. So this main mast beam is attached to my cross beams with these pieces of hardwood which are screwed in to the beam and then drilled through, and I've got M10 bolts holding it in. I've got 3 in place, but on this middle beam I want to put 1 on the other side. I was actually looking at everything and thinking, actually I'm not going to put another support piece in, I think it's alright. But yeah, again, if there's any engineers in wood, what do you reckon? I just think if I do put another one here, then I am going to have to put 4 new screws into the beam, so let me know. Alright, I'm going to sand, prepare and then paint this beam on this fine day. Then I don't need to put a tarp over it all the time and it'll just be waterproof. So a follower of the channel came and brought me rolls and rolls of this really good quality 3M sandpaper, but it doesn't have the fluffy bit to stick on a power tool. But I do want to make good use of it, so, and also get that work out. But I do have a bit of a cheap and flimsy sanding block, which is a little bit of a pain, but we'll get there eventually. Apparently it's 10 degrees today. It doesn't really feel like it, but I think that's about the temperature at which you can paint. And it's funny, I was saying I don't want to use epoxy, and I'm pretty sure the rules for painting in epoxy are about the same, about 10 degrees. Anyway, I'm going to stick another coat on this because it's going to rain tomorrow. Hopefully everything will set up nice overnight, and then while it's raining I have a few pretty important jobs to do actually. Let's get a fresh coat on here, using the same paint as well from yesterday. It's an epoxy primer, so hopefully this paint is alright as well. I think also you don't have to sand it back if you apply the coat within a certain amount of time. Keep losing my little sheaths down here. The only thing I can think, because stainless is not magnetic, will this suck them up? Probably not. The uses for a wet vac on boats is endless. This is a really important job. These little portholes, they're really quite close to the waterline. When we moved the boat here, we sailed on the lakes around Amsterdam to get here. There really wasn't much swell, but still a lot of water managed to find its way into the boat. Through these, the rubber is all perished and there was no bolts. They were just tie wrapped on. I don't know if I even had screws on. But the amount of force of water that's going to be pushing on these, I don't know what you call them, are they port lights or little windows? The force is going to be huge, especially with those big waves pushing up. Rather than replace them, I'm just going to try and refurbish them. when I screwed in these mast support pieces, I did use epoxy and put epoxy in the holes. This is probably a little bit naughty, just putting sticker flex on the top, but it should stop more water or any water getting in from the top. Yeah, it's not pretty, it's a little bit naughty, but I've done it. I think it's better than nothing, isn't it? Got some nice big washers for the bolts. So I wasn't happy with the ceiling foam which I got for those port lights, or whatever the flipping heck you call them. Little windows. I wasn't happy with that, so I popped to the chandlery and they have this nice closed cell foam. So I've got a couple of sizes which I can try out, but that should be much better than the sort of cheap insulation foam that you get for your interior. I've probably wasted a tenner on that. And also at the chandlery, proper stainless wing nuts and stuff. Alright, now just to get some shopping. There's this really useful shop called Action here in the Netherlands. Dutch people will know it. It's the cheapest stuff, cheap rubbish. You don't really want to be buying your tools from there. I got this little Dremel bit set because they're probably, you know, these things break so easily, and if it's cheap then it doesn't really matter. And yeah, mixing sticks and socks. I just need to get some food shopping now and then I'll get back to the boat and fix these windows. Hee-hee! Feels good. feels sealed, but really there's a few things. This seal seems really good stuff and it works. It seems to seal it, but it is a little bit too thick for the indentation in the rim, if that makes sense. I've used stainless nuts and bolts. I've used stainless thingy-majiggers, wing nuts. And also, the weird thing about these is they've got screw holes, but there's no screws in the screw holes, but it feels remarkably well stuck. But you can't really trust it feeling remarkably stuck. So I don't know what to do with those. I said I'd refurbish them, definitely not refurbish them because they're proper dirty. But that could be a job for Mary, just making them all shiny and nice. But I think in terms of functionality, it's pretty good. I have run out of the isolating compound to stop galvanic corrosion, so my parents will come with a big tub of that, which I ordered, and I can put that on the bolts here and here. I'm also tempted to just leave it and keep an eye on it and then see what the fuss is all about, but it will corrode. It will corrode. What am I talking about? Just have to do the other one now. So I am going to try a little bit of epoxy on these stairs. This has been a bit of a problem for a while. It looks like it's ready to go, ready to break, and there's a couple of places up here. So a little bit of epoxy and fiberglass and I will hopefully sort this out. I've got a heater in this hole, so it should cure just right. That's turned out alright. Let's hope it sets. I'm going to put the heater on it now and fingers crossed it will set. Also, I didn't use the scales to weigh out the epoxy because the batteries were dead, so I measured it by volume, and you add an extra 10% with volume, so the mix looked pretty good. So let's see how it sets. Here we are, 24 hours later, and it has set very nicely, very strong. I'll sand that up and then that's another job for Mary to do, get that painted up. So in the last 24 hours while that was drying, I've edited this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope the music wasn't too cringy in some places. And also I ordered a starter battery, some wiring, and I'm just thinking how I'm gonna have my electrics on board. I'm gonna have a very simple system for the starter battery and the mast lights. That's the only sort of electric system that I'm gonna have. Everything else is gonna be portable power. So in next week's video, hopefully I can start getting all that installed, getting my electrics a little bit sorted, making it super simple. I need to route some cables through the cabin roofs and all that stuff, so stay tuned for that next Friday, 8 PM UK time. Thank you so much to all my patrons, my coffee givers, my PayPalers, the people who thanked me directly through YouTube with the super chat, all the comments, all the likes, all the views. You guys are just incredibly generous, so thank you so much. Hit me up with all the advice, all the things I'm missing, because I do read all the comments and it is very useful for me. Thanks so much again, and see you in next week's video.